This game, I'm just not even... Yikes, yikes.
Like, relax. It's not that serious. How are you gonna do that to me when you're the one? Round number 1 just wrapped up. We played against the homie Jay, and we're gonna have a fun little interview with him as well. We're not gonna leak how the match went down. Tell me about today's events, what you chose to play, and your favorite Pokemon of all time.
Favorite Pokemon of all time is actually Quaxly. Surprisingly, yeah. It used to be Blastoise, but I got replaced recently in Gen 9. Today I decided to play Gardevoir. Very niche pick, but it's been a pick that at Toronto and Vancouver last season I was going to play, and then last second flaked on it. Never actually had the chance to play it at a regional, but it is my favorite deck. Yeah. And this format just feels so weird, so I was like, doesn't matter what everyone's saying about the deck, I'm just going to play my favorite deck, I'm going to play well with it. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. First deck when I actually got into the game was Mew VMAX, obviously, who wasn't? But I think my first like real deck that I really gave a lot of time was Lost Box. Toronto, I got day 2 with it, and then like kind of when Jirachi came in and Sableye fell out of format, I was like, not as fun anymore, so did a lot of soul searching. That's when I found Gardevoir, so give it just about maybe a bit over a year, maybe like 8-9 months, but I've been grinding Guardy for a while now, and it's just so much fun. My goal is day 2. Toronto's been a while now, so I'm trying to repeat that. Ultimate goal is obviously like first place, but realistically, if I could get like a top 64, top 32, that'd be amazing. I think I have the skill set for it. I think I know my matchups well enough. Just gotta play well and get lucky, right? One of my friends, Ben, he's on Guardy. He just top 4'd seniors at Worlds with Guardy, so we're playing that exact same 60. Dario and Joe, they're both on Charizard. 3 friends, Owen, Kabir, and Elliot, who are all on the same 60 of Regidrago. I'll try Guardy for sure. I always gotta stick it through. It seems to never die, no matter what happens to it. Briar is very scary, so we'll see. Dragapult's scary, there's Dusknoirs everywhere, I don't know. I'm gonna definitely try it out, but if not, might fall back on my old reliable Palkia. And if that's not working out, then we'll just meta slave to Zard and Dragapult, I guess.
Round 1 recap. We played against Gardevoir player Jay right here, and I got punished for not bringing good old reliable Miraidon. I had my Miraidon coin, I won the coin toss and chose second. Tried to get in his head a little bit. I saw the mulligan, I was like, oh, it's Guardy, it's definitely Guardy. Gardevoir and Lugia are like my 2 worst matchups, and I was hoping that, you know, all the Regidragos and stuff would scare away the Gardevoir players, and this guy's not scared. This guy's not scared, and he absolutely cooked me. He destroyed me 2-0. The first game he did this nasty play where he devoed 3 of my Pokemon at once and took 3 prizes, and I was like...
With the stamp.
With an
unfair stamp.
Unfair stamp right before that. Oh my god, this guy was cooking. This guy was cooking. I was drawing pretty well, but he just drew better, and in this matchup, I'm not having a very fun time, I'll be honest with you. So, congrats, Jay. I need you to keep winning, keep my resistance looking good.
You gotta keep winning too.
I got it. I'll try and see you in day 2, yeah. But yeah, round 2 is gonna come up soon. We'll see if there's any more homies we can interview before the next round. Hopefully we get fed a bad Charizard player or something like that. Maybe a Charizard player that forgets to attach an extra energy on and then announces an attack. That'd be kind of nice to make up for the round 1 loss. But with this new tournament structure right now, I have 1 life left, basically, to qualify for day 2. You have to go 7 wins and 2 losses. So, yeah, we just got to win out, basically. Round 2 is going to start pretty soon, but we have a quick interview with the homie we interviewed in Indianapolis, who made top 16 at Indianapolis. We got Jackson Ford right here. Jackson, how you feeling today, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. Well, thank you for having me on the channel again. You know, feeling good about the day. I'm happy. I'm in good spirits. Tied the first one. I'm playing Block Locks today, so I hit a Moon with the Petrant. Very difficult matchup, but I do have a spicy Blood Saloon in my deck to try and take 6 prizes with that guy. So we'll see how it goes. I feel good about it, but you know, 7-2 is a hard grind from starting 0-1.
Yeah, how do you feel about this format being like a 7-2 format like Worlds was? Do you miss the 6-2-1 possible things or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because you're very much incentivized to play a deck that doesn't tie, which means that for someone like me, where the only deck I've really played all format is Block Locks, you know, it's not great. Would have liked to see a 6-2-1 for this tournament, but I think going forward, you know, I'll try and play some more decks that are a little bit quicker at finishing games, strategically scoop some games as well, and then we'll kind of just see where it goes from there. Anything with a Dusknoir in Area 0 just looks like a bad time. I've seen some things where people got 2 Dusknoirs on like turn 2 and they're just like taking 4 prize cards. It does not look like a fun time, man. I might have to go on a hiatus until LAIC. Regidrago, by far the best deck in the format. Charizard, probably the best matchup spread in the format. And then I think it's probably just Raging Bolt, because Raging Bolt, you know, it takes a lot of good matchups, but most importantly, it's finishing games. You're not going to tie. and you know, you don't have to think too hard. So you just flip some heads on some catchers, Pokestop into some Pokegear, some Earthy Dusters, you can have a good time.
Why didn't you play Raging Bolt?
I wanted to use my brain. I come to tournaments to use my brain.
Can I give it a shot?
Hey, yo, what's up? How's your tournament so far?
Good. Okay, don't have time for an interview. Round 2 just wrapped up, and we were blessed because we hit the hard matchup round 1 for Gardevoir, but round 2 we hit Roaring Moon Dusknoir with a Darkrai V-Star, and oh, I was so excited. The second he flipped over all those cards indicating he was playing a Roaring Moon deck or just, you know, grass weak Pokemon, I was hyped. I was like, okay, we're gonna cook, we're gonna hit for weakness all game, and it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So game 1, I just popped off. I Clef'd into like 4 cards, and then he would Dusknoir, pop one of my Pokemon, and then I would just return KO with a Spathra into the Roaring Moon, do that again for the second KO, and it was beautiful. And then game number 2 was a bit of a weird one. He chose to go first, and I hit 4 mulligans. I gave him 4 extra cards, and he had a really good setup, and it came down to the wire at the end of the game. It came down to if he ended up doing like a play where his like win condition was he had to evolve his Duskull into whatever to knock out one of my Pokemon, and then use his Petrant EX to knock out another one of my Pokemon. He hit me with the Roxanne, gave me 2 cards. The 2 cards were Arven and Boss.
I know you're vlogging, but I got you.
Hey, oh, thank you, thank you. So it was Arven and Boss, and I'm like, okay, sick. I can Boss the Duskull on the bench before he can evolve, and he has no cards left in deck after I KO him. So we're now 1-1 into this tournament. Everywhere beside me when I'm playing, there's like a Miraidon there, Miraidon there. Like, there's Miraidons everywhere. Round 3 is gonna start soon, but we have a quick interview with the homie Michael. Wait, is your last name? Yes, I recognize you from Twitter. Oh yeah, dope. So we're gonna check in with Michael, see how his tournament's doing. How's your tournament so far with Lugia?
So far so good. I'm 101, just tied at Cornerstone. Had no idea what I was doing against Cornerstone. I've never played, I didn't practice against that. But game 1 I played against the Miraidon, so winning that with Lugia feels really freaking awesome. Was able to go 2-1. Game 1, it looked pretty bad. He just did the nuts. He did everything he needed to do. But game 2, I brought it back. Game 3, he went all in. He whipped a couple of generators like Miraidon usually does. And then I was able to legacy on a rat. He took a turn with no prizes, and then I just got ahead. And the spicy tech is a Thornton, so I was able to Thornton right back into a Cinccino, and it's pretty rad. I've got a buddy of mine, Phil, who is a big Thornton stan, and he really encouraged me to play it. So shout out to you, Phil. I think overall, when Lugia sets up, it's easily one of the best decks in the format. I think it goes well into a lot of the top decks. Obviously, Drago's a really good matchup for me. Charizard's a little iffy, but then overall, like, I didn't expect to see a ton of Miraidon. Ironically, I saw one to start. But yeah, I just think when it sets up, it has the power and the potential to be one of the best and strongest decks out there, and I've just been playing it for a long time, so it made sense. It's my guy. Just started playing competitively last year, and the first deck I ever played was Arctur Umbreon, and that was a fun deck. I missed that. Just have fun. I would love to day 2. Never day 2 yet, so I'm coming in here with just the dog mentality of I'm going to win. So from here on out, I'm going to win out and have a lot of fun.
Round 3 is going to start pretty soon, but we have a quick interview with a subscriber. We got Alex. Alex, what are you playing today? How's your tournament?
Playing Raging Bull Ogre Palm, and right now currently I'm 1-1. Been playing it for 3-4 months now, and it just made me feel more confident in my play, and it's actually helping me a lot. I see a lot of Raging Bulls here, and I'm happy I chose to do it. So
what's a matchup you're kind of scared or iffy about?
Ancient Box.
Ancient Box.
I had 3 Ancient Box swarming me earlier. I was like, man, this is making me nervous. Me and I got a team of 3 other guys, so it's 4 of us, and we just long reps, late nights, practicing, doing best of 3 live tournaments between us 4, practicing in person, going to cups and challenges, and just staying on top of things in terms of what can change the deck and being open-minded. Shout out Catch Only Some, that's our TikTok. If you give us a follow, you can see some TCG live videos, and soon we'll be doing like in-person like podcast episodes on there.
We have an interview with Tristan, fellow Miraidon enjoyer.
Hi,
and tell me about your tournament run so far.
2-1, beat Roaring Moon round 1, lost to the Drago, it was so close, and then beat Zard by opening up with Iron Thorns, never benching anything, and then just took prize after prize. Generators are cooking and having a great time in my home state, Maryland. The very first ever League Cup I played in, I played with Miraidon back when like Andrew Mahone first had it with like Lappies and everything. Built that, went and won a League Cup. It was so awesome. Kind of dropped the deck, picked up Zard, wasn't doing great with Zard, and then it just came back to be like, I'll just play Miraidon again. I love that deck. so much fun. I'm gonna definitely try out the new improved Miraidon with like the Mewtwo in the stadium, but I also am looking forward to the Cinderace. Shooting for 4 wins today, but if I can go all the way, I definitely will.
Okay, well, I'm cheering you on.
Thank you.
Any shout outs for anybody watching at home?
My buddy Jack Dolby, Brennan, Ethan, like, you know, just all my buddies over Player One and Critical Hit Games, my other game shop.
Round 3 just wrapped up. We played against Kelly, playing Reggie Drago V-Star. Insanely close matchup. Game 1, he kind of ran away with it. He got the Dragapult EX in the discard, got the Farm My Little Guys. My Manaphy wasn't enough. It protected me from the Kyurem, but it doesn't protect me from the Dragapult EX damage counters being placed on my Pokemon. Game 2 was a nail biter. We had 20 minutes left for Game 2. And by the very end of the game, I played to every single out I possibly could. It came down to the wire in overtime. He had 4 cards left in hand. He knocked out my Pokemon and had 2 prize cards. I was shaken because I knew the odds of me winning were pretty high, but I needed to have him have particular cards in his hand. So I evolved into my Banette EX. I used Clairvoyant Sense. I attached. I brought Banette to the active. I bossed up the Mew, meaning I only needed 3 trainers in his hand per game. He shows me his hand, and there's 2 trainers in hand, which meant he would take it. So that was an exhilarating matchup. I'm not going to forget that. Probably the most enjoyable match I'll play today, or at least most memorable. 1 win, 2 losses. We're on our last life, so we have to win out every single round to qualify for day 2. And if we even take 1 tie, the dream is over.
Editing Christian here, hopping in for a quick little editor's note for this portion of the vlog. I'll be hopping in later in this vlog, don't you worry. It does get way spicier than this. But the thing I want to make a small note of for this matchup is probably a learning lesson that you guys can also use for your gameplay, or more importantly, to mention to your opponents when they play sloppy or very suspicious. This opponent, I called them out on them this game, or in the middle of the match, because they were doing some suspicious hand movements. Every single time I played the supporter card Iono, they would pick up their deck and mash their hand within like a second into their deck, and I could never tell if the hand would go to the top or the bottom of their deck. First of all, picking up your deck that quick and, you know, bringing it up like that scares me, because I immediately think you're going to start shuffling your deck. That's a DPL basically. If you shuffle your deck when you are playing Iono, they would smash their deck together so quick with their hand that I just couldn't tell if the hand was going to the top or the bottom of their deck. So if they really wanted to be sneaky, and you know, that's what cheaters do, they'll do things really quickly, or they'll spam multiple actions to try and, you know, to not get their cheats on the radar, so to speak. They did this multiple times in the game, so after the 3rd time, I was like, I don't want this to come up and be an issue where I have to call a judge, because this is totally a judge callable kind of thing if your opponent is playing very suspicious like that. So I was like, hey man, when I play Iono, please play slowly, just put the cards on the table, because I would not even be able to shuffle his hand, right? Because you're supposed to be able to cut or shuffle your opponent's hand before they put it to the bottom. Usually it's not something that comes up unless their hand is so big and is like endgame, where potentially a hand being stacked is a thing to worry about. And so I was like, yo, when I play Iono, please slow down. Just, you know, be mindful of this, because maybe I don't call you out on it, but if someone else calls you out on it, it could escalate. Who knows? If I did get a judge involved, maybe he's done this in the past, and they had a warning on their mark, for example, on their record for the tournament. This would be like immediately escalated to something else, DPL or DQ or something like that, for multiple instances of having this kind of sloppy gameplay. And so yeah, just do keep that in mind. Again, I've never seen anyone in my life have to pick up their deck so fast from Iono. Like, usually people don't even pick up their deck when you play Iono. You play Iono, people will shuffle their hand, put it onto the table, pick up their deck, drop it onto the stack of cards that was their hand, and then draw their cards. I couldn't tell if they were putting the cards to the bottom of the deck or not. A small little interjection right there. That's not the main thing that really cheesed me this tournament. The main thing is coming up real soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, just be mindful. You know, I'm all for clean, gameplay. And so when people play too fast or play too slow, there's definitely that's how cheaters play. Cheaters like to play slow, cheaters like to play fast. Defend yourself in certain scenarios, especially at regional tournaments when you spend your hard-earned shekels to play and a lot of time to come out to these events. And I would hate to be cheated out of a win. So play clean, don't play sloppy, and be respectful to your opponent.
We got a quick interview with the homie Diamante. I got to play beside him at Charlotte when they got a no-show. So yeah, Diamante, tell me about your run. What deck are you on today?
Today we're on Reggie Drago V-Star. Unfortunately, we're 0-2-1 today. Had a little unfortunate matchups. Hit a Bolt round 1. Dunked him game 1. Game 2, he just had the sauce. And then game 3, he dunked my Miwi X in play. Round 2, we hit a Lugia. You know how Mist Energy works with Dragapult, unfortunate. And then round 3, we hit a Don. We hit him right on. We unfortunately we tied, but today I'm having fun. That's all that matters. Keep grinding, guys. We're gonna get there one day.
What's next after Reggie Drago? Stellar Crown's coming out. Any decks have your eye? Anything you're cooking behind the scenes?
My boy, his Sweden Zorwak V-Star. It was my first deck I've ever taken to a regional. Unfortunately, I didn't do as well. But it's a deck that I enjoy so much, and Zorwak is just so cool. Shout out to my homies at Draw 7. Shout out to my homies at the Griffin's Rest. One of them's actually 3-0 right now.
Okay, what's he on, Drago or something else?
He's on Miraidon.
Hey,
he's on the Don. He had 2 Guardies, so he's cooking, you know? But appreciate Christian here also interviewing me and stuff like that. Appreciate it, big dog, for sure.
Appreciate you, bro. Quick interview with the homie Ethan. Ethan, tell me what deck you're on and tell me how your tournament's so far.
I am right now on Zard Dusknoir. Currently, I'm 2-1. Originally, I was gonna play Guardy, but then I just got burnt out of Guardy. And then a couple months ago, I decided, you know what? Why not try Zard? And I've just been on Zard ever since. Shout out to my friend AJ, and shout out to everybody at Shipwreck Locals. Favorite Pokemon, Greninja.
Oh man, I'm so annoyed right now. I'm so annoyed, I'm so annoyed. You guys just saw the board state. This is the board state. This is the board state. The opponent offered a gentleman's agreement and I was like, yeah, I'm down if you want to do it off. They're like, off prizes, off board state. I'm like, I'm down, we can do it off prizes, I guess. And they're like, it benefits you. It benefits everybody if it's based off prizes. That's not typically how it goes. And then off board state, my board state's insane too. But yeah, I'm very, very upset and annoyed right now. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So now we're both knocked out of day 2. I cooked them in round 1. We probably wasted at least like 5-6 minutes of the game. There's multiple times where she had to calculate the damage and reconfirm the damage, but I knew the damage was perfectly fine. And then yeah, we wasted another like 3 minutes talking about gentleman's agreement mid-game. So I just needed one more turn to attack, and this sucks. This really sucks. They said they're going for points. I'm like, I'm trying to go for day 2 and for points, but they want the points, and I'm not going to coerce anyone into giving me a win, although we wanted to do the gentleman's agreement. So it is what it is. That's Pokemon. I should have scooped game 2 quicker. I made a slight misplay in game 2, which basically cost me the game, but I could have just scooped game 2 because it was looking like 50-50. Usually you just dominate Charizard, which I do, and I was in this case, but it just didn't happen. That didn't happen. I probably sound really salty right now, and I am. I'm very annoyed, very salty.
I'm back for some more spicy tea, this time for this particular matchup against this particular Charizard player. So first off, I didn't mention this in the vlog just because the game went to time, so I really didn't have much time at all to talk about this stuff. But now that I've calmly collected myself, I'm here in my bedroom, I get to talk about exactly what went down. So first off, my opponent playing this Charizard deck, she or they were probably one of the most like aggressive players I've ever played against in my entire life. Borderline like disrespectful. The thing that really irked me was they were in a very negative mindset the entire match. They were complaining every single turn, all throughout the match, like being a negative Nancy. Like, it's almost like I kicked their dog before we started playing, and they had it out to get me. Like, they were just they were upset the entire game. just for my existence. They would be complaining about,
"This is an auto lose for me because you're a grass type and I'm a dark deck and you hit me for weakness." And
that's how Pokemon goes. Like, there's weaknesses involved. You don't have to cry about it all matchup, and it's just so annoying, and it's so condescending. It's like, it's not impossible for you to beat a deck that hits you for weakness. I've done it before, and I've been cooked for weakness before too, but I'm not a sore loser about it. So they're basically just being a sore loser the entire match, and all of the players around me could definitely tell the energy was tense because they were looking at her, and it was just like, the energy was no bueno. Another thing, they did make an action in the game that was a double prize penalty offense, and I really should have stood up for myself and called a judge, because this offense that they made was basically, they had Collapse Stadium on the board, they played Nest Ball, they went through their deck, looked through their deck, illegal deck search, and I was like, you know what, I'm probably gonna win this anyways because I have a really strong board state and everything. However, I did make a small misplay later on, which cost me that particular game too. When it came down to it, at the very end of the game, I needed, I believe, 1 prize left. If I had stood up for myself and said, you know what, let's just get a judge because that's an illegal deck search, I would have been awarded the DPL and I would have won the game, no problem, and then I wouldn't have tied this Charizard player. The next thing, there was one instance where she freaked out at me. Like, they legit freaked out at me because they looked at my prize cards and saw I had taken 2 prizes. I knocked out one of their Pokemon with a Spathra, and then later on, they knocked out their own Pokemon with their Dusclops to KO or put some damage counters onto my Pokemon. In the middle of the game, they're like,
Hey, how did you get 2 prize cards? Explain to me that.
Whoa, chill. Like, relax. It's not that serious. Everyone around us is looking at us. I was like, relax. You're like, your emotions are at an all-time high. I knocked out your Pokemon with my Pokemon on the previous turn. You knocked yourself out with your own ability. So that's why I have 2 prize cards. And they're like,
oh, okay. I'm like,
God damn, chill. I'm a nice person. I'm Canadian. I'm always trying to de-escalate situations. So if I don't need to escalate it, I won't. There was another instance where she was berating me for doing unnecessary actions in my game 1, and I wanted to make sure I had game on board because I didn't have game on board for the next turn. She just assumed I had game in hand, and so what I was doing was I was thinning out my deck out of all the useless cards so I have a stronger chance at drawing boss's orders in the following turn. I was evolving my Zatus, taking out my energies with Earthen Vessels. I was doing everything in a quick way where, where you don't shuffle between every single action like a whole bunch. That's something they were doing. There was multiple times they would go back into their deck after doing thorough shuffles. And it's like, I was like, bro, like, come on now. How are you gonna do that to me when you're the one doing this unnecessary shuffling in between actions? So that's just another thing that irked me, the way they were trying to like, I was playing at a perfectly fine pace and everything, and I was doing all the actions and making sure my sequencing was done correctly, but just to be berated like that was really annoying. I honestly don't know what their history is, so maybe they just have a history of being a very aggressive player. Maybe something happened in their personal life that was strongly affecting their mental space when they're playing, but like, I can give you wiggle room for stuff, but being so toxic when you play IRL, like, this is one of the few instances where I've had toxic players IRL, and so it's just a very unique experience that I hope no one ever really has to go through. One last thing before we dive right back into the vlog. My opponent was the one who initiated the chat about doing a gentleman's agreement, and as I probably talked about in this vlog, we wasted about 4 minutes of time talking about gentleman's agreement, and this was going into game 3. And I had to think about it. I was like, you know what? I think I'd be down. So I said I'm down. I'm like, we could do it based off prizes. We could do it based off board state. And they're like, they were down for prizes. So I said, okay, we can do it for prizes. And then she goes, you know what? No, that benefits you. I'm like, well, typically gentlemen agreement are based off prizes. But at the same time, too, my deck would also benefit from board state because the way you just get everything set up, it'll clearly look like I'll have a dominant position by the end of the game, and that's exactly what happened. I was like, yeah, I'm down for the gentleman's agreement. Then they decided that they were unsure about the gentleman's agreement, although they're the ones who offered it. And so they wasted another 30 seconds or so thinking about if they even wanted to go through with the gentleman's agreement that they offered. And I was like, oh my god, this person is definitely slow playing me into a tie, because the second the judge walked by, I was like, hey, how much time do we have left for game 3? And they're like 7 minutes. And her eyes lit up. I was like, this girl is gonna try and slow play it into a tie. That's exactly what happened. I was like, you know what? Instead of doing this gentleman's agreement that you offered, let's just play. Let's just play. Maybe I can just draw fast and announce my attacks fast enough. I wasn't able to announce my attacks fast enough because we ran out of time talking about this dang gentleman's agreement. So this is like the huge issue and problem I have now with the new tournament structure that we're going into for this competitive circuit for the 2024-2025 season. Ties are so penalizing. A tie is basically a loss. And so people were doing gentlemen's agreements at this Baltimore Regionals round 1, round 2. This was round 4, I believe. So, you know, doing a gentleman's agreement round 4 is kind of unheard of, but given the state of how you have to qualify for day 2 with a record of 7 wins and 2 losses, or 6 wins and 3 ties, if you get a single loss, then all your ties are basically losses as well. And so that's the huge issue I have. I'm not sure about you guys, but let me know in the comments down below, if you're still watching, what you think about this whole new system. I think it definitely narrows down how many people get into day 2, like very, very finitely. Like they were able to basically get top 128 exactly on the number for day 2, but it makes the games way more unpleasant to play against, because now you have this extra tension of if we tie, it screws us both out. By the end of the game, there was a slip, and they were giving me this opening essentially to sort of ask to, you know, give me the win because of the gentleman's agreement we talked about at the start. I'm like, hey, sign what you want. I know they can't sign that they want it, but I was like, hey, here's the slip. Sign it how you want to sign. I'll sign here. And then they signed tie. They walked away happy, and I was just like sad. So it is what it is. I definitely miss the old way to qualify for day 2, where you could go 6 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. Maybe they'll bring it back eventually, but right now it basically kind of makes me want to play fast beatdown decks. You're less likely to tie that way, and when you play, you know, decks that have a lot more searching in your deck and a lot more shuffling and a lot more sequencing involved, and both players are playing those kind of decks, going into time, it's gonna happen more and more frequently.
This game, I'm just not even... Yikes, 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 yikes. Okay, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, I gotta get some food. Maybe I'm getting hangry. Food will definitely help ease my mood right now. And then a homie came by, and he asked me to sign his Golden Rhydon, and I was so excited to sign that. And he also just hit back-to-back Snorlaxes as well, so I felt for him too. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it is what it is. We can't even go like dates. Like if it was the old format, we could, you know, go 6-2-1, but no, not anymore. We're whatever. Yeah. I'm sad about the loss, or the tie. It feels like a loss. It's a mental defeat, but we're here to get some positive vibes going with Aaron from NAIC. If you guys remember the vlog, Aaron, how was your run today? Are you in a toxic relationship with Lost Giratina still? How's life been since NAIC? I need to know. I'm dying to know.
It's been a lot better. I went onto the Raging Bolt after I got destroyed at NAIC, so I'm on that game. Today it's been difficult, but 0-1 and 3 right now. Okay. First 3 games I tied against Charizard, 2 Lugias. This should have been instant wins. Yeah. And then I just lost to a mirror match. He had it, man. He had the game. Everyone today's been great. They've just been playing really well. They've had great hands. It's been down to that last turn for those first 3 ties. Rapagos, I want to build that for sure. I really want to put Crispin, and there's something else I want to put into Raging Bolt, because there's a lot of games where like I'll have the board state ready to go for the Raging Bolt, but I won't have the discarded energy to use my Sawdust. If I had a Crispin there, I could attach, I could get my energy to my hand, or I guess the other way around, right? Yeah. Put it in your hand, then you can attach. The guaranteed energies. And then I can go from there. So I'm excited for Stellar Ground.
How's Lost Tina though? Are you done Lost Tina? Are you gonna go back to it? Go back to her?
I don't know. I still got it built.
It's always there. It's always around.
Got built.
The phone number's still there. You know, 2 a.m. you up, and then on PTCG Live.
That's right. Hey, what you doing? You know?
Yeah. Any shout outs for anybody?
Yeah, it's like everyone I've been playing with, you know, at 4 corners, good luck, have fun, all fun and games. Yeah. Really good having you guys for competitive support, playing the cups, challenges, the weekly leagues. You know, it really helped me. I'm much more confident at this regional than I was at NAIC.
Oh, that's great.
I'm winning games, just not winning the matches yet. So I'm getting better, and I'm so happy.
Well, good luck for the rest of the tournament. It was nice seeing you again.
Hey man, it's great seeing you again too.
All right, so this next round is taking some time. There's some delay happening. I don't know what it is. I am getting hungry, but we have the Pokemon Trainer diet right here. Some energy drinks and some granola bars. We have a quick interview with William, a player who's playing the same deck I just tied to. So, William, tell me about your tournament so far and why you chose your Charizard deck today.
Hi everybody, my name's William. It was really nice meeting SneakerTalk here at Baltimore Regionals. I live in the area. Currently I'm 2-2. I'll probably drop if I, lose one more because you need 21 points. I wanted to pick Charizard because it was kind of simple. I used to play Giratina V-Star, but it's not really for my brain, so I gotta pick something simpler. 4 opponents so far. They're pretty challenging. One of the matches I had both of my Pidgeots prized.
Oh my, what are the odds of that? That's
yeah,
rough.
a little bit unlucky, but that's how it goes. But yeah, it's great being here.
You said this is your first regional. Do you have any goals for this first regional?
I think I'm probably just going to be here to have fun, experience. I've never been to a regional before, so I kind of want to just, feel it out. Yeah. Just kind of meet new people.
And how's the experience been so far?
It's been really good. Everybody's super friendly. Everybody's giving me advice. If I lose to somebody, they're like, oh, you could have done this or this better.
Okay, so
yeah, everybody in the community is really wholesome, so that's something I enjoy a lot. Probably Milotic is number 1. Number 2 is Jirachi. Number 3 is probably Sprigatito.
Round number 5 just wrapped up, and we played against Nicole. She has the same name as my younger sister, and she was playing Raging Bolt. Very friendly opponents, very fun game. Raging Bolt is slightly favored into Espathra. I'd say 60-40. We do got Mimikyu technology, so if I'm not stalling turns with Espathra and Headquarters, I'm stalling turns with Mimikyu. And I just couldn't get there in the end. I prized my Banette EX game 1, which is big. I really needed my Banette EX so I could do a big one-shot on the Raging Bolt. To make matters worse, I had to pee the entire game. I was holding it in, so I am desperately seeking the washroom. Round number 6 just wrapped up, and we played against another Raging Bolt. Back-to-back Raging Bolt matches. This time we played against a Pokedad, so super friendly opponent, really fun. My deck was on fire. I was drawing perfectly, I was setting up well. Game 1, I had 3 Buddy Buddy Poppins in hand. It was disgusting. So my deck feels great, feels consistent, it did its thing. I was just drawing so hot that the homie, the Pokedad, really couldn't keep up. Had a lot of fun playing against him, and we have 3 more rounds left to go, 7, 8, 9. We'll see if we can end up with a positive win rate for this event. Next round's gonna start pretty soon, but we have a quick interview with one of my biggest enemies, a Charizard player. We got Michael. Michael, how's your tournament? How's your weekend so far here in these regionals?
1 win, 3 losses, 2 ties.
Okay. We're playing it out? Are you doing all the 9 rounds or what?
Yeah, just playing it, having fun.
What kind of version of Charizard are you playing?
I'm just playing a pretty standard one.
You got
That's like the weirdest thing would be I'm running NKV and Prime Catcher.
Okay. Couple minutes to kill before round number 7, and we finally have another interview with the Shuffle Squad member. TJ, what deck are you playing? How's your weekend going so far?
I'm playing a super spicy deck. It's September right now, so I'm playing a spooky deck. I'm playing Darkrai V-Star with a Banette package, or I'm sorry, not the Banette, that's too spooky. I'm putting the Dusknoir package. Honestly, I've been playing a lot of Regidrago for the format, so Regidrago V-Star is pretty easy for me to pilot because I've been doing it before the good cards got into the deck. So anything that has Noctowl in it, because I loved Shady Dealings before, so searching for 2 cards whenever I really want to seems pretty good in a format. I really think that cards like Area Zero Underdepths that widen out your bench to 8 Pokemon is going to be really good for the game and really help out a lot of other decks. So I'm really excited to see what people can cook up with that type of card. First video game was Pokemon Blue. Dragonite is up there, Monter is up there, and I really like Greninja. I just think it's cool. He's a ninja, he's a frog, why not? Make sure that you're having fun. That's the biggest thing. If you want to compete, you want to be a heavy competitor, make sure you're practicing your deck a few weeks leading up to the event. Maybe look into some coaching, maybe look into a couple of YouTube videos, Twitch streams, things like that. You can always check out the Shuffle Squad. But as far as that goes, you just want to be prepared. That way there's less mental stress when you're here. It is a lot of people, so you do get the social anxiety aspect of it too. But just relax. Everyone is here, is playing Pokemon, you're having a good time, and you're enjoying your time here with all these other people that like the same thing that you do. One of my favorite decks of all time is probably Rocket Zapdos, which is from the old Team Rocket set. Hopefully what we see Pokemon do with these new trainer series, they kind of alluded to Team Rocket. It was a really disruptive deck. You got to take your opponent's energy off the board, and you got to play the game, and your opponent didn't. And I love disruptive decks like that, so I'd love to see something like that happen in the future too, but that was one of my favorite decks of all time. I am a Jesse stan, you know, Jesse's old school, but we could just go old school Giovanni, right? Giovanni's so cool, and I like that Boss's Orders artwork of the card. The Shuffle Squad is a competitive Pokemon TCG team that travels the world and competes in all of the events that TPCI is putting on, and we like to grow the community and try to get people into playing the game and learning how much fun it actually is. So we're putting out content as well as promoting our esports style team, and we're actually the most well-known and biggest team in the entire world, which is kind of crazy to say, but you know, we love Pokemon that much, so we want to branch out and bring Pokemon competitive sports to everyone.
We hit us hard, and I cooked. The deck worked, my deck's consistent, and Espathra is just a nightmare for Charizard, and I played as fast as I could, so I couldn't get in a potential tie situation either. One thing I just realized is I have like a whole thing of pasta in my backpack. I completely forgot the homie Alex cooked like a big pot of pasta last night, so I'm gonna chow down on that. It was fun playing against Jeffrey though for our game. We talked a bunch after the games, talking about the meta and stuff like that, and deck building, so always fun to talk Pokemon after a game of Pokemon, you know, you never get tired. But yeah, time to chow down, get some food in my system. Round number, I'm not sure what round that was, but it was really fun. It was a rough matchup. We played against Gardevoir, which is by far the worst matchup, I believe. Hate to play against those matchups. I went into this tournament being like, you know what, I'm gonna pretend Gardevoir doesn't exist and hope for the best. And we hit 2 Gardevoirs, man. But yeah, really fun game. Even though I lost, I had a lot of fun playing. It was a very like kind of lighthearted game. 1 round left remaining, round number 9, and our current record is 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. So we're gonna play out this last round for fun, try and end on a 50% win rate like we did in Orlando with Blastoise EX, but this time with Espathra. And I mean, that's pretty funny if we do end up with a 50% win rate, because the Orlando Regionals was the exact event where I was so sad and talking about how I wish I played Espathra at that event. But that's when Charizard was insane. Charizard was like 20% or 25% of the meta. Round number 9 just wrapped up. We played against Michael, and he was on a Raging Bolt Teal Mask, and it was so much fun playing against him. His energy, he brought the energy. He brought the energy, he was singing, he was vibing, he was positive vibes the entire match, which I really, really appreciate. After a long, exhausting, grueling day. If you come to these events, you know how much of a mental marathon, honestly, it's like a physical marathon too. And I'm like running on 4 hours of sleep. There's a lot of players here who are like sleep deprived. 3rd Raging Bolt of the day, and I had a lot of fun, man. At one point of my game, we hit I think 540 with Banette EX. Game 1, he won the coin toss, chose 2nd. I go, Flitto's in my active, look at my hand, I'm like, bro, this hand would be broken if I'm going 2nd. We had the Arvin, we had a bunch of goodies, but we chose 2nd, and all I could do was attach pass. Bruh. On their turn, they were able to get Pokestop, they hit Pokestop, and then they milled an energy, got Switch Carts, and then they go Sada, attach, Switch Cart, their Squawkabilly EX out of the active, and then bam, Bellowing Thunder for 140 onto my little baby 30 HP Flittle. Game 2 was a long, fun one. It was actually so much fun. It was just as close as the Regidrago from round 2 that we played against, but maybe, yeah, it was pretty much just as close. It was so much fun. Came down to me needing to boss up one of their Pokemon, which I did. I bossed up their Teal Mask, and the scenario was I had 2 energies left in deck. I had a, I believe, 7-card deck. I had an Earthen Vessel in there. I needed to hit the Earthen Vessel from the Pokestop, and unfortunately, out of that 7-card deck, I did not hit the Earthen Vessel. We hit an energy, but not an Earthen Vessel. But if we hit both energies, we just lose on the spot right there. So we ended up swinging into the Teal Mask Ogre Pond for 30 HP short. Final record for the tournament is 3 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. We are going to be playing Rhydon a whole bunch in the Stellar Crown format. Catch you guys later. Road to 50,000 subscribers. Peace out.